Like we had 3 different cocktails. And then wine. Hey, fuck off!
So if I'm leaving, like, Pizza Express.
If anyone gets mud on this white coat, I swear to God I'll kill you.
I felt like a right twat.
This is Your Welcome America presents Girls Aloud, Off the Record, Episode 1. I am Ben.
I am Fraser.
Fraser like razor.
And for the next 6 weeks, we're going to be recapping and reliving the classic 2006 reality show, Girls Aloud, Off the Record. And you can watch along with us because the episodes are on YouTube.
They certainly are. Okay, for the uninitiated, which is probably like, I don't know, one of you, we need to tell you what the show is. Girls Aloud Off the Record follows our beloved UK girl group in the build-up to their 2006 Chemistry Arena Tour. From appearing on TV shows to filming the whole lot of history video in Paris, promoting in Australia, New Zealand, to promotional appearances in Ibiza and Greece, and going on an ambassadorial trip to China with former London Mayor Ken Livingstone.
And here is what's coming up in episode 1.
Over the next 6 weeks, we'll go behind the scenes to show you what it's really like being at the heart of the British pop industry. The tabloid front pages.
Oh God, you've seen that as well.
The Premiership footballers.
Actually, I'm gonna kill you.
The misunderstandings.
Do you know what? I can't even be asked giving them the time of day to comment on it because I think it's pathetic.
And the falling out.
So who looks like the dickhead? Not you.
Welcome to the real world of Girls Aloud.
Oh, that's the little top of episode teaser from episode 1. There's going to be lots in this.
Yeah.
I feel like we're about to go on a journey.
We really are. And I guess that teaser gives us our first little thing to talk about is the fact that this is narrated by Vernon Kay.
Vernon Kay? I thought it was Paul Nichols.
Oh, shit. I think it might... Oh, my God. I always thought it was Vernon Kay.
It's Paul Nichols.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it? Is it really? Oh, Paul Nichols. Wow.
He was a thing for a
He
minute.
really was the thing.
I wonder where he is now. I hope he's not like one of those other Brits in LA who is now an anti-vaxxer. Remember that one we found who will rename nameless?
We can't do that.
Before we get into Girls Aloud Off the Record, I have a confession to make.
Oh.
This show helped me get a very important job in my career.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because in the interview for that job, I was chatting about all kinds of different things in pop culture, and I really heavily went into talking about this series because I had it on DVD. And the person interviewing me, my now friend, beloved Susie, said, "Did you know that I produced that show?" And I was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Genuinely, no." So it helped me get the job.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Love Susie. I literally just did it again. I went, did she? That was happened to me.
Right, let's get into episode 1.
Okay. Should we talk about the opening titles just while we're for the first time?
Absolutely. So
it's set to the fantastic song Models,
which we just heard.
From the Chemistry album, track 2. Intro, track 1, Models, track 2, first official track of that album.
Strong opener.
Yeah, it's a really good song. It's really, it deserved a fun music video. But anyway, how would you describe the kind of aesthetic of these title sequences?
Well, it's really important to dig deep here because we're going to see these titles for the next 6 weeks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ripped wallpaper going on. There's that wallpaper which is black and pink with kind of black swirly sort of gothic designs.
Yeah.
It's very agent provocateur.
Oh, well, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's very that world.
Yes, like an embossed wallpaper. It would be an embossed wallpaper at like the Agent Provocateur concession in like Selfridges.
Exactly. Selfridges. Oh, upmarket.
Yeah.
It's a little bit Malmaison.
It is very Malmaison.
The Malmaison hotel chain, which I'm sure I have really
we've discussed the Malmaison Manchester hotel chain at length, I think. But yes, you're right. It's very, very that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, pink and black is a wild and very strange color combination.
Well, it's quite in quotation marks sexy,
yes.
Isn't it? It's like we're girls, but we're sexy. And there's something a bit mischievous about it. We're not bubblegum pink.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's more deeper than that.
Yeah, and we get to just kind of see the girls one by one as they get the wallpaper ripped off to reveal their name.
Yeah, there's like a whooshing camera going around. It's very hectic, isn't it? I think it's meant to sort of like set up like, oh, this is going to be a hectic 6 weeks. Look into like the hectic world of being in Britain's top girl group. It's very that, isn't it?
Yeah.
How have you broken up this episode? Because this show, we're a whole year on from Totally Scott Lee.
Yeah.
Shout out to our Totally Scott Lee series. So it's less about scenes, and we've really gone heavy on what we like to refer to as scenelets.
Yeah, I'm kind of almost not breaking this up that much. I'm just gonna kind of. I have some headings, some subheadings, but I think I'm just gonna go with the flow.
Okay, you get it. You go for it. You get that flow going, please, babes.
So we start in February 2006.
Sure do.
Most notably on the set of the single Whole Lot of History that this whole show seems to be based around, which is very strange.
Once again, to base a 6-episode reality show around a kind of forgotten Girls Aloud single makes me love it even more.
How do you feel about Whole Lot of History?
It's fine. I'm really. It's inoffensive. You can sing along to it. It's not for me. I feel like, and I'm not shading you here, I feel like it's got a special place in your heart.
It definitely does. Yeah, it definitely has a significance at the time. You know, I love a Pour Me playlist. You know, I love a dramatic, listening to a song on a bus while it rains in London and looking out the window. And the time that this came out, there was very significant things happening. And it definitely goes hand in hand with a period of time that at the time was very heartbreaking, but I look back now and think it's quite funny. Okay. So this song kind of makes me laugh.
It's no Life Got Cold.
Oh, God.
Talking about being in a bus.
Yeah, true. No, I will say that there is a couple of good moments in. Well, I like the song in general, but you can't ever deny the moment where Nadine says, "Yeah, I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. It costs me so much love."
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I like that in this first scene, the Whole Lot of History music shoot, everyone looks very cold.
Yeah.
Tell you what, February in Paris, not fun.
In a drafty old kind of Baroque kind of mansion.
It's
a
very
Parisian
chilly.
townhouse.
Everyone's wearing black puffer jackets.
Yeah.
Except the girls, of course.
Yeah, there's just a lot of them kind of sitting around, really quick flashes of them sitting around and looking bored and kind of getting ready to film this music video. But then this is where the weird structure of the show kind of comes in, and we hear from the voiceover that basically it kind of gives a sum up of how Girls Aloud are a very successful girl group. And then it says, but management is getting worried.
Well, they're getting worried. They're going to throw in this very loose bit of tension here, aren't they? Because Whole Lot of History is going to be their 12th single, and the last 11 have gotten to the top 10.
Yeah.
So, I mean, fingers crossed.
So we swing from Paris to all of a sudden we're at the Polydor offices in London. It's going to be a place that we see quite a lot, I think, throughout this show. And we meet a character called Peter Lorraine, Director of Marketing at Polydor UK.
Yeah, I've written desk in West London. That's the location. I remember I definitely wanted his job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a couple of people's jobs that I would have wanted at the time. Between Peter Lorraine and Rachel Cook, I could have done either of those jobs.
Well, we'll get to Rachel very shortly.
We'll get to her in those highlights soon.
I want to talk about Peter, his look, his 2006 look.
Yeah.
He's kind of got what I would describe as like a geek sweater and shirt on.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like indie band, a little bit like gay geek.
Yes, and it's also to go in hand with the time period. For me, third year at university, that's what I would have worn to like a formal occasion.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think if we would have had like I think we used to have a Christmas meal at university where we dressed up, and I think I wore an outfit very similar to that, and that was me dressing up.
You would have got it from Top Man or a Burton's or something.
Of course.
Now, Peter Lorraine, I don't know how old he's here, but he seems young.
Yeah.
He seems like he's young and he's doing very well for himself. I gave him a quick Google.
Oh, yeah.
So he now runs a management company called Fascination Management. Do you want to hear his roster?
I do.
Okay, we've got Goldfrapp.
Yeah. Oh,
We've got Jessie Ware.
okay.
Relevant. She's been doing very well.
Yeah. She's
Particularly
going
with
to Drag
that.
Race UK.
She
Judge.
sure is.
Yeah.
She's got that podcast. Will Young.
Eyes like a sunrise.
All Saints.
Oh, wow.
Steps.
Okay.
I mean, they're bringing in that money with
Yeah.
that live tour. We've got Una Healy.
Oh.
Because she and that acoustic guitar need managed.
I was about to say, got that acoustic guitar. Anyway, move on.
Four of Diamonds, don't know who they are, look like a girl group. Shakespeare's Sister, sure.
Oh, wow.
Kathy Dennis, Slows, don't know who they are. And then at the end, the Saturdays.
Wow, Una's separate from the Saturdays.
Well, she's got that acoustic guitar. It's a different genre. I do genuinely feel back then in 2006 and now Peter Lorraine has the career that we both want.
100%.
Yeah.
I'd happily have Una singing Chasing Lights on the acoustic guitar. Go on.
Also, shout out to the Fascination Management website, which is lovely. Although I will say it does say copyright 2019 at the bottom. That's fine.
So Peter Lorraine is basically saying, he says it's a gamble releasing a fourth single, but they think that people, in his words, want to see the girls performing it on TV. Beg to differ. I love the song, and I certainly wasn't craving to see a live vocal performance of Whole Lot of History. Fine.
This song, though, is very much a fourth single from an album.
Yes,
I mean, you're
definitely.
never going to lead an album campaign with this. It's never going to be the second. It might be the third single.
Yeah.
But you know what? We'll release it fourth.
Yeah.
If not at all.
And I'd say this is probably, in like Girls Aloud ballad history, their most famous ballad is I'll Stand By You, right?
But yeah, which is even theirs. What's also interesting is, once again, why are we doing a whole 6-episode show
Yeah.
around the fourth single on an album?
Yeah, it's like if they did the next series and it was all based around that song. Will you ever see the day? That was on the Chemistry album. That's like a strange ballad that they released.
Oh yeah,
like a Christmassy song.
I don't think they like that song, the girls. I think also, from memory, isn't the video, they're kind of like on a glittery, dusty moon or somewhere?
Yeah, the video is very similar. I think it takes place in the same white kind of snowy ether that Never Had a Dream Come True takes place in.
Oh yeah, well they've got that one snow set up and they just rotate it. So that is Peter Lorraine. We're going to see more of him at his West London desk throughout this season.
Yeah.
Who have we got next?
Next, we've got Rachel Cook, the other person whose job I want. She's the TV promotions executive at Polydor UK. She has some 2006 highlights that are stunning.
She is glossy.
Yeah, she's very glossy.
She's very glossy and together. She looks expensive.
Yeah, she definitely does.
She is saying here that she doesn't think that Whole Lot of History is doing as well as the other singles.
Yeah, which, that seems to be the general tone of this episode. There's rumblings in the industry that A Whole Lot of History is not doing well, which I'm not quite sure where they're getting that information from, because this isn't like Totally Scott Lee when we had the actual midweek chart figures.
Yeah.
It just seems to be, I don't know what they're basing it on, that people just don't care. Like, people aren't booking them for TV shows, maybe, because I suppose she's the TV promotions executive at Polydor UK.
Yeah.
So maybe they're not getting as many TV bookings. Although I certainly feel like we watched them on a lot of TV shows in this series.
Oh yeah, Rachel back then, she did a great job.
Yeah.
Don't know what she's up to now, but in 2006, she's getting them on SMTV. She's getting them in the BBC Television Centre. She's doing well. Have you, when you've worked on shows, I mean, this is always the person that is kind of like the go-between between the band and the producers in the TV shows.
Yes.
I feel like I've dealt with and worked with many a Rachel Cook in my time.
Me too. And some of them are some of the most terrifying people you'll ever meet in your life.
Yeah.
There's one woman in particular that represents a lot of very famous American artists when they come to the UK. And she is one of the scariest people I've ever met.
I think I know who that is. This may be a person who basically blocked me from talking to Rihanna.
Yes. I think this is the same person that shouted at me about something to do with Justin Bieber.
Oh, what did she shout?
Just that the show was running over.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I know, babes. I'm feeling it too. I'd love to go home. I didn't say that, obviously.
At this point in the show, in episode 1, they're also setting up like a recurring theme of the press. There's a lot of like, well, do you know what? The press, I mean, they love the girls, but it's a lot of pressure. They're always just hounding the girls.
Yeah.
Kind of setting up the press as sort of the enemy.
Yeah, but they do a kind of honest job of saying, like, well, the girls don't say this, but Peter Lorraine and Rachel Cook, they do a fairly honest job of kind of admitting that they need the press as much as the press is also kind of the enemy in this show.
Yeah, and we really get into it actually later in this episode, a couple of moments.
Oh yeah, when we hop on that plane and fly somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is kind of, like you were saying, they're talking about the press, and then we kind of get like I'm calling it the press whirlwind. We get a lot of
Oh.
like really quick flashes of shots, and we're going to see a lot of one particular shot of them dressed in an outfit that I'm calling the stripes and gingham look.
Yeah.
Which is something we see a lot throughout the show, and it involves Nadine wearing a big floppy hat. And they set all of this to the song because, as we said, they use a lot of their own music pretty much throughout this whole show, and this little segment is set to the song Big Brother from What Will the Neighbors Say?
Yeah.
Big Brother's watching me, and I don't really mind. It's not a good song, but now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, I'd love to hear that again. And basically, yeah, this is setting up, and they have a little soundbite from Sarah, and she says, talking about the press, and she's like, can't live with them, can't live without them.
Oh, Sarah.
I mean, she really...
philosopher.
Yeah, and she really is one of the most tabloidy members of the band, isn't she?
Yeah.
So yeah, and then Rachel Cook just kind of caps off that segment. She's inexplicably in a cab all of a sudden, and she just says, you know, they need more than just their songs to be played on the radio. They need people to buy into them. It's the whole package. It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Kind of slightly hinting towards the fact that her and some of the other management people secretly enjoy them getting all of the press attention, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
So yes, the next segment is, yes, it's very much a focus on Cheryl. I called it Cheryl segment.
Because throughout this whole series, each member of Girls Aloud gets like a real like spotlight moment, a real kind of bit of focus.
Yeah.
So this is her bit. So I love the voiceover here. It says that, you know, she's 22 years old.
Yeah.
And she's the most famous member of Girls Aloud.
Yeah.
Whoa. So the other girls did not get approval of this show.
No, absolutely not. And you can imagine how pissed off they were when they first saw this, especially Nadine, to see that Cheryl gets the first spotlight segment of the first episode and to be called the most famous member of Girls Aloud. And then they try and kind of give the reason it's because she's engaged to footballer Ashley Cole.
Yeah, and we're gonna see them a little bit later because they're going to be going to a Fashion Week event. But before they get there, she's got to go somewhere else, doesn't she?
She's got to go shopping with me mum.
With her mum, Joan. She's going to go Bluewater.
We're Joan. We're going to go to Bluewater, go shopping, go to Habitat, buy a nice cushion.
So before Cheryl's big Valentine's night out at the fashion show with fiance Ashley, she goes down Bluewater with Joan.
She's inexplicably got a clip in the side of her head, which I couldn't quite get my mind around. And she's wearing a very strange outfit. She's wearing a kind of a flared jean with a boot and a kind of a formal white shirt with a green...
pea green
sweater and has specs, which make an appearance later.
And then she's got big disc earrings.
Oh, yes.
And a white leather bag. Yes. Now, those specs, I've written decorative.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Now, you're saying Cheryl's specs make an appearance later on in the show as well?
Yeah, she's wearing them at the Julian McDonald fashion show at London Fashion Week.
Oh, well, she's got to see those catwalk looks. Also, do you think she was gunning for
Spectacle Wearer of the Year for Specsavers?
Yeah.
I think so. I wrote in my notes, I'm so scared of Joan. Joan is really scary.
Well, let's just, when we've talked through Cheryl's 2006 look, let's talk through Joan's look as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, sorry, Joan or Jan?
Joan.
It's Joan.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to get that wrong. Joan's wearing a denim ripped mini. She's got black leather boots. She's got a chunky belt. She's she's a bit of a Karen. Look, do you know what I mean?
Yes,
she kind of has that slight look.
I'm a little bit scared of you even saying that. I feel like she's going to somehow find us saying that, and she's going to come for us. I'm so scared of Joan.
Shit. They seem to have a lovely relationship.
They do. I really like her spunky haircut as well. She's got a real fun, spunky little short haircut.
Oh, those two. It's interesting here because Cheryl's 22 years old. Even at this stage, she has the air of someone a lot more mature.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean, though?
Yeah. Even though she's shopping with me mum.
Shopping with her mum. She's like, it's almost like a much older person who's taking care of her mum.
Right.
Even though like Joan is very young as well. So, and she even says later they often get
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that clanger of a moment later on.
People often think my mum's my sister.
So they're doing a little bit of shopping in Bluewater.
Yeah.
The premise is she's buying clothes for that evening. I'm not so sure that's exactly what the order that this footage was filmed in. But anyway, we'll go with the lie that they're telling us. So this is really just a lot of little clips of them, you know, just looking at clothes. And then basically at one point they're in Holland and Barrett. Did you notice that?
Sure did.
That's when she said, "Me mum's me best friend." And then the most kind of important part of this is Cheryl gets into kind of an interview with the crew at this point, and there's a little bit of a focus on the nightclub incident.
Yeah. So they it looks like they've trotted off to the food court. Maybe they've sat down for a latte. That's what it feels like to me. And they're talking. I think this whole sequence is set up to make Cheryl look like a very normal, relatable person.
Yeah.
Like she's best friends with her mum, and she goes down Bluewater.
Holland and Barrett, yeah.
And she goes to Holland Barrett to get her, what do you think she's getting?
Like
Fish oil?
Cod liver oil
Cod
tablets.
liver oil tablets. So Cheryl talks about the nightclub brawl that happened. She says, I got myself into a pickle in a nightclub like any teenage girl does.
Got myself in a little bit of a pickle.
Little bit of a
pickle. Quite a soft version of assaulting
Yes,
a toilet attendant and being charged with racist.
Yes, she was accused of assaulting a toilet attendant 3 weeks after Girls Aloud were formed. It all happened in the toilets of a nightclub. Now,
In Guildford.
This is very much a moment of the show where you realize, oh, this whole series is controlled by the record company and it is PR, and they're trying to, give Cheryl plays a bit of a victim here, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does.
Because she talks about always being portrayed as the bitch in the band.
I've still got that stigma of being the bitch in the band. I wrote down every Cheryl quote because I wanted to do her accent.
Cheryl's amazing because, as we discussed in our Girls Aloud special, have we done a Cheryl special? I can't
No,
even
we
remember.
have not, my friend.
Feels like we have. That's certainly coming in 2021. Anything Cheryl says is incredibly mundane, but it can be... She makes it sound like it's the most interesting phrase in the world ever.
Yeah.
Like, she could be talking about having a cup of tea, but you listen to every word and syllable, you hang for it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's actually the true definition of someone being a star.
Oh, she is a star.
She is a star. And then, she says it can still make us cry, still make us bitter. Mm-hmm. So she's still kind of hanging on to that stigma.
That stigma. Where do you think they had lunch that day in the food court? What do you think they got?
I think they went to Pret.
Do you think they went to Pret? Got
I think
quite
so.
A quick thing from Pret. What do you think Cheryl and Joan's Pret order would be in 2006?
I think Joan would want whatever she could get the closest of Pret to do, like a ham and cheese.
Well, they do a fancy ham and cheese.
Yeah, I think she'd get a fancy ham and cheese, and then I think Cheryl would get the crayfish salad.
I 100% agree. She would do the crayfish no sandwich.
Yes.
Which is basically like a salad.
Yes.
Crayfish, in America, they call it crawfish.
Crawfish, yeah. Not really sure what the difference is there.
Cray or craw. Cheryl's all over them.
Yeah, and then there's just kind of like a wrap up of the shopping, and I couldn't quite understand. It's her paying for something in a shop. And did the person working at the shop charge her £921?
No, I thought
£521.
I thought it was £121. So it was like 120. That'll be £121, please. And Cheryl says, "Not a bad day of shopping."
Yeah, I swear she said 9. I think she said 900. I tried to put the subtitles on, but because it's not like an official, I tried to put closed captions on because it's not an official thing. It was kind of gobbledygook, but I saw they did put the number 9 in there. That's where I got 921 from.
Do you think she spent £921 in Holland and Barrett?
No, see, that genuinely I thought, oh my god, she spent £900 in H&B, but actually you can see that they're in a clothes shop. So I think this is, if we're going to go with the lie that this show is telling us, I think she spent £921 on a black blazer, a white vest top, a blue scarf, and a new pair of, Specsavers Spectacle Wear of the Year chunky frame.
What, for the Julian McDonald show? Well, she's going to Julian McDonald. She's got to dress up. Right, well, thank God she's been shopping, because off to this next scenelet, and it's the fashion show with Ashley. I've written fashion in quotation marks.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some give in the term fashion when it comes to Julian McDonald.
Yeah. Now, have you ever encountered Julian McDonald?
I haven't.
Okay. I have. I mean, we should explain to our American listeners, he is a very much like a British designer who his big thing was he was one of the first people to do like those diffusion lines at like a department store.
Yeah.
So he'd be like Debenhams, Julian McDonald. So it'd be
Yeah.
like if he did like a line at Macy's.
Right.
It's very much that, isn't it?
Yeah, and his dresses are, as we see in the show later, I describe them all as outfits that someone would wear on Strictly Come Dancing / Dancing with the Stars. He's got a very kind of glitzy, a glitzy glam with a slightly like racy, I'm going to use the word slutty edge.
It's not subtle.
It's definitely not subtle. But I don't know, speaking of subtle, I don't know if you noticed, there's just in this kind of establishing bit where Cheryl and Ashley are in a people carrier and we see them driving past an O'Neill's pub. And I have to admit, I did get just a tiny little twinge of homesickness when I saw that O'Neill's pub. Not that I would ever want to go in one, but there's something about seeing a London street with an O'Neill's pub. I think it's that one in Soho. It gave me like a little, I don't know, I got a little frisson of like homesickness. It was weird.
Which O'Neill's pub in Soho are you talking about?
The one at the top of Carnaby Street. That's the one it looked like they were driving past. Do you know what I mean? Remember there's that like...
The Liberty's End?
Yeah.
The Liberty's End.
Yeah.
Oh, we're near Leon, aren't we?
Yes, right next door to Leon. And Starbucks is that O'Neill's pub.
I know, thank you for situating. I know exactly where we are.
So Cheryl's excited about this because she likes Julia McDonald's clothes and she's enjoyed watching them on Project Catwalk, as she says herself. Ashley is not excited.
Yeah, he seems... Ashley, in sharp contrast to Cheryl, Ashley seems very young.
Yes.
It's like dragging a teenage boy to go see his grandparents.
Yeah.
He has that vibe.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
He would 100% rather be at home playing on his PlayStation.
Oh, yeah.
Than sitting with his fiance in her specs and blazer and scarf on the way to see Julia McDonald. Yeah, and also it feels like he's not even been mic'd in this scene. Like, she's definitely wearing a mic, but like you can barely hear him speak. He's got such a quiet speaking voice, isn't he?
Yeah, I feel like he didn't even know a show was being filmed.
Yeah.
And he was just shoved in a people carrier. And then Cheryl starts asking him questions, and there's like a really bright light on top of the camera.
Well, there's also a lot of darkness with seeing Ashley and Cheryl together anyway, because we all know what is to come of their relationship. So that's also the historians in us looking back. Every moment of them together makes me kind of cringe because it makes me sad.
I know, and it's very easy to say now, but there's some moments even in this scene where you can kind of get a little tinge of that. The first point being that Ashley seems very young. At this point, they say they've been engaged for a year, and they met because they lived in the same complex.
Yeah, he was playing tennis.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand that. But then it's Valentine's Day, so the whole idea in this scene is they're going to go to the fashion show, they're going to have Valentine's dinner afterwards. Cheryl asks Ashley, "Will you be my Valentine?" And Ashley says, "Yeah, I've got no choice. We're getting married in 4 months."
Yeah.
Okay, so we get to the fashion show. It looks like they're going to the Masonic Lodge for this fashion show, and that's sort of near Covent Garden and Holborn, isn't it?
It is, yes, between there. That Masonic Lodge is right next door to a nightclub called Sway that I used to be forced to go to on multiple occasions for like Friday night drinks with my friends that all worked in like offices and had real jobs. It was a real like Friday night after the office.
Just go down Sway.
Go down Sway and with the gals from HR. It's quite something, that place. It's bad.
Oh, and it's one street over from Premier Model Management.
Yeah.
another chapter of my life from when I worked on the model agency for Channel 4. Here's my impression of the people who worked at Premier. So this is them answering the phone. "Hello, Premier." That's it.
Love it.
Yeah. So we're at the Julia McDonald fashion show. Cheryl, now they've got front row.
Yeah.
Because Cheryl before was like, "We'll probably be at the back, won't we?"
Yeah,
It's like,
more
Cheryl,
of her faux humble stuff.
Cheryl, you're famous and also you've got a camera following you. It's
Yeah.
fine. You might actually have to walk the runway. So Cheryl and Ashley, it looks like they're seated beside an extra from Britney's Piece of Me video. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't.
Kind of like this comic character with big hair and sunglasses and like a glitzy, fluffy bolero thing going on.
I was very overwhelmed by the Julia McDonald fashion show. So it begins and we see Paris Hilton in a wedding dress.
Now, Paris Hilton in 2006, that's a big booking.
Yeah, that's a really big booking. It's definitely, and the way they edited it, that was definitely the end of the show, and they used that as the first shot. I couldn't really get a handle on the other two. They showed two other models. I couldn't get a handle on the dresses, but the gold number looked very Strictly Come Dancing.
Yeah.
It was like a gold short backless, like tutu, rah-rah skirt thing. That was very Strictly. Mm-hmm. And then, so we only really see a quick glimpse of that, and then, you know, Cheryl's wanging on about it afterwards, saying she's like, "Oh, it's quite starstruck seeing Paris Hilton, blah 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 blah," and then she does a shout out.
Wait, before that, she does a great impression of Paris Hilton with her pout, doesn't she?
Oh yeah, she does. Yeah, she says she has one expression.
Yeah, she does a pout like this, and it's really good.
Yeah, and then she does a shout out to Chantel.
Now this is Chantel from Big Brother.
Not Chanel. You can't get confused with
Chanel
from Big Brother, who was the Victoria Beckham lookalike. This is Chantel from Big Brother, who was the Paris Hilton lookalike.
Yeah, because she said, "We should have had Chantel fight our corner." It's like, what's going on?
What a wild ride. I mean, Chantel from Big Brother, that was quite something. Do you remember her whole story?
She was the one in... She was in Celebrity Big Brother, but she wasn't famous. But she had to pretend to be famous by being big in Japan.
Yes, she had to pretend that she was in a girl band that used to be big in Japan.
Called like the Kitten Somethings or something.
Yeah. And she had the love affair with Preston from The Ordinary Boys. Boys will be boys. Remember that song?
Yeah.
Oof.
And I will say at the very end of this episode, when the credits are rolling, it's like, coming up next on E4, it's Chantel's dream dates.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I'm just assuming that's just Chantel going on dates.
Probably.
Yeah. So, we've watched the Julian McDonald fashion show.
Oh, no, we haven't.
Wait, what? What's happened now?
They've gone backstage to meet Julian McDonald.
Well, before they do, I hope they're looking their best.
Like, oh, yeah, Ashley, I'm covered in fluff from your jumper. Yeah, she's covered in fluff from Ashley's jumper. This is also probably something she spent £921 on in Bluewater, right?
Well, that's why she's worried about the fluff.
Yeah, and then so they go backstage and meet Julian McDonald, who I think is inexplicably wearing Cheryl's Fight for This Love video outfit.
Well, he is wearing that, just like looking into the future, and also it does look like the outfits on the runway show could be in like a later Girls Aloud tour.
Yes.
So Cheryl's really, I don't know. Is this like a Christmas Carol? Is this Cheryl just traveling through time?
Yeah, and also actually his look is Fight for This Love meets Britney's Circus.
Yes.
Like very ringmaster kind of look.
Yeah, and we've had that piece of me extra. Oh wow, all worlds are colliding.
And then, yeah, they leave because they've got to go to their Valentine's meal because she's starving.
I'm starving.
I'm fucking starving.
And I just wrote, I'm starving in quotation marks. And once again, she can say the most boring things but be mesmerizing.
Yeah. And then I was saying, where do you think they went for dinner?
Oh, okay.
It's Valentine's Day.
And it's there.
I think they went to the Ivy.
Oh, yeah, because I tell you what, she could hop in that people car.
Yeah.
Ivy's not that far away.
It feels like they feel like the couple at that time where the pinnacle of romance to her would be him getting them a table at the Ivy.
Have you ever been to the Ivy in London?
I haven't, no.
I think I've been once. And wasn't the thing always like, oh, you got to get the shepherd's pie? Like, okay. But also now it looks like in the UK, Ivies have popped up all over.
Yeah.
Like there's one in Glasgow and there's one...
Really diffusing that name around the country, eh?
I know.
And then we hear from Drew, their tour manager.
And Minder,
who I think sounds a little bit like Mr. Bean.
It sounds a bit like this. He's like, oh yeah, so I've got these paparazzi driving around all the time following us.
Don't you think he sounds a bit like that?
He also has the air of Tony Scott Lee from the Totally Scott Lee series, just constantly driving around talent, you know?
Kind of shaking off the paps.
Well, yeah, because they've, he talks about the paps here. Again, a real attack on the press. They go for it here in the whole storyline of the show. And, you know, because he's picking Cheryl and Ashley up after their dinner, and there's paps following them, and he's talking about them.
Anyway, do you know what we should do? Okay, have you got your passport?
Oh, well, I hope management's got it.
Did you get your Euros?
Oh, but, no, Peter Lorraine, he's going to do those for me.
Okay, well, we better get to the airport because I'll tell you where we're flying to.
Where are we going?
The island of Ibiza.
Aye!
Ibiza.
Before we get
That's for any
there,
Americans that are listening, insisting on calling it Ibiza.
Ibiza.
It's Ibiza.
Before we get there, we know that we get a very quick scene of Rachel Cook gliding around London in that creaky black cab again. She's saying something about the band. I don't know what. But...
Yeah, there's this whole episode's filled with Rachel Cook in that cab just saying something about the press and promotions. Like, yeah, we get it, babes.
Yeah. Hope she's kept those receipts.
Yeah.
Get the label to pay for it.
Yeah.
So we are going to Ibiza because it's 4 weeks until the single release. A whole lot of history's coming out. So the gals are going to go to the Balearic Island.
Well, I tell you what, the people who go to Ibiza on holiday are just the kind of people that want to hear a ballad.
A lot of history. Maybe like a remix of a lot of history.
Like a perfect marriage of fan and song, that is. I don't know what they were thinking sailing into Ibiza for this. It doesn't make any sense at all.
One of the concerts that they're performing at, they have like a picture of like the billboard outside. It's got Girls Aloud, and it's a concert with Electric Sex and Ryan O'Gorman.
Yeah.
Don't know any of those words.
Not a clue. They're performing at Eden.
Eden, that's right.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Ibiza? I know we talk about this all the time.
I haven't, and I still would love to go.
This just the quick flashes they showed of like the strip and kind of general Ibiza stuff gave me. So I've got two versions of Ibiza. I've got the lovely Ibiza that I did for my friend's husband's 40th birthday, which was one of the best holidays of my life.
40th birthday, a bit older, Lux.
Ibiza town,
Lux. Get a villa away from it.
We were on like the nice side of Ibiza, yada yada.
Nice side of the island.
And then there's this trip that I took to Ibiza when I was 21 or 22, just after I finished uni. So literally like the year after this TV show, I went to Ibiza with my friends and we We just really went for it, and I feel like kind of sick looking at it. It makes me want to throw up a little bit. In fact, shout out to one of my friends who will remain nameless, who actually was sick on a bar in Ibiza. She did a shot, just threw straight up on the bar.
Well, it's quick. So we're in Ibiza. Before they get to Eden to do their live performance on lots of directors' chairs.
Oh God, that performance!
They have a very quick radio interview. Now the girls here are sort of dressed like they're mid-journey from the beach to the villa. Do you know what I mean? Like they've just been to the beach, and Hilary Shaw, who we'll get to in a bit.
Oh God!
Hilary Shaw says, "Girls, just nip in here. We'll do a quick interview." They've all sort of got like salty hair, shoved up,
bit pink,
all wearing sunglasses. Someone's got a beach bag.
They don't look happy.
They do not look happy.
It looks like Sarah's doing all the heavy lifting in that interview, doesn't it?
Well, no, there's a great moment, though, because the DJ says, "What are you?" And Cheryl just says, "Pop at its best." I'm like, that's a very strong answer.
Yeah,
she's right.
They're not wrong. So
enter Hilary Shaw, though.
Then we get some quick shots of them actually doing their performance in Eden, and it seems to be on a very small stage, and they're performing the show on director's chairs. Should have known, should have cared, should have hung around the kitchen in my underwear, acting like a lady.
But in this scene, I do get from them kind of what they are. They're sort of like the fit girls from the beach you saw earlier, and they just happen to perform at a club.
Yeah,
they've got very much that vibe. It's very like they're very attractive and they're good singers, but they're very girl next door attainable.
Yes,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean? It's like, it's basically like if you got like the fit girl from your friendship group and they all joined a group together.
Yes,
that's what they are.
Absolutely.
But you might see them at the bar afterwards doing a shot.
So we see them performing, and then basically we cut to a restaurant, and the voiceover tells us they're having their first night off they've had in like 2 months.
Yeah, it's the first time letting their hair down in 2 months.
Yeah, and
Talking of shots, what's going on here?
Oh God, it seems to be Sarah, of course, is initiating, our party girl, which is a little, is going to get a little dark throughout the history. But at the time of release, she was very much known as the fun party girl. It's her doing shots. Is she doing them with Drew?
Is she doing shots with Drew?
I don't know.
Is it like, should we do a vodka shot, Sarah?
But they're doing that thing with the hand behind the back.
Yeah.
Isn't that called like a blowjob shot?
What?
I'm sure if you hold your hands behind your back and you do a shot without your hands, you just go down with your mouth and you put it up. It's called a blowjob shot.
Oh.
I love how you're really perturbed by that.
I found that really distasteful. For someone who says disgusting things all the time, for some reason you really got to me with that one.
I didn't create this. Hang on, I'm Googling it.
Don't Google blowjob shot. You're going to get something very different.
You're right. I'm not going to Google that.
I'll believe you, okay?
Okay, well, they're doing shots without their hands. Sarah's doing one.
Yeah.
But then we've got Kimberley.
Yeah, our Kim's doing it.
Our
and
Kim's
then,
up for it.
Crucially, as we're going to discover later in this series, we have just a very quick cutaway shot of Cheryl and Nicola. And they're both doing that thing that, when some people are having fun and some people aren't, and when people who are not having fun, rather than talking amongst themselves or excusing themselves from a situation, when people cross their arms, Cheryl and Nicola are giving me real arms crossed, I'm cold, I'm tired vibes.
Nadine, nowhere to be found.
She's refused to film with the crew again. She's gone.
She's doing a long distance phone call. I don't know what the time difference between Ibiza and LA is, but
What do you mean? Who's she talking to?
Uh-oh.
Don't reveal our biggest reveal of the show.
We also get a lovely, lovely shot because the whole gang at the table, manager Hilary, who we're going to get to in a minute, she's sitting there showing her pearl earrings. She's sitting there, but I tell you what, she's done some shots in her time. Hills.
Yeah.
Don't try and be a prude with us, Hills.
I know, she's got a disapproving look on her face, exactly, like she hasn't downed a few shots in her time. Yeah. Smoked a pack of 50.
Mm-hmm. They're then all bundled into a people carrier, and Sarah here is... She's adamant that she's speaking Spanish. She says, muy bueno. And then someone's like, no, it's muy bien. She's like, no, it's muy bueno. And then she gets in, and then she just the last shot of the night, the people carrier door is sliding closed, and Sarah throws her head back and is just cackling.
Yeah, she's basically going like, ciao bella.
Yeah, exactly.
Linguini, yeah. They're all just like, oh God. How many people carriers have they been in with her banging on about something?
So... It's the morning after.
The morning after, and
because they've had a night in the tiles, which we do not see.
Absolutely. And then we are treated to kind of lounging around the villa, and I'm going to just yet again point out that this is another track from the What Will the Neighbours Say album. This is Deadlines and Diets that's playing in the background.
It's a real slow, chilled out one.
Wow.
It's what you'd want to listen to by a pool.
It really is. It's the chill out song. Deadlines and diets.
There's a great slow-mo shot of Sarah in the pool having the time of her life.
Yeah, she's still going strong the day after, isn't she? Yeah. She's having a lovely time.
Throughout this whole scene, I want to give a real shout out to the true stars, which are the cricket noises.
Yep.
Just crickets in the background.
Cricket noises and flip phones are the two major stars of this scene. So the whole point of this scene is that they have discovered a paparazzi in the bushes taking pictures of them by the pool. But crucially, I think that they weren't filming when this was happening. So this is all being kind of reconstructed in them telling the story and showing the bush, but you never actually get to see the paparazzi.
Yeah.
But this is a lot of very reassuring shots of Kim, our Kim, who I will always love and will continue to love. She's like the anchor, keeping this ship steady all the time. And she's just like her. She's on her flip phone. She's like, oh yeah, I saw some paparazzi in the bushes. Like 1 second we were looking and they were there.
I did one shot with Sarah last night, but I feel fine.
She's the opposite of Cheryl in that she says mundane things and they sound mundane, but I love her for it.
I know.
I love Kim.
Cheryl, meanwhile, she's talking about the paparazzi and she's like, it's stalkerish. It's disgusting. And to be fair, she is right here because she's talking about how they often hone in on their private parts. Mm-hmm. And she says there's a real difference between a public beach versus like a private villa. And they're in a villa here. So, you know.
One thing being on a public beach, but in a private villa.
Private villa?
Private villa.
By the pool? You know?
And then we get, as they're having this conversation, we get a very strange cutaway of Sarah learning Spanish from a discman.
Sarah does not care about the pap and the trees.
You'll notice there's a theme throughout this whole show, which is there are scenes with Nicola, Cheryl, and Kimberley together, and then there are very separate scenes with Sarah by herself and Nadine by herself.
Yeah, Sarah's having a lovely time. I'm glad she's learning Spanish though, because her Italian, you know,
not muy bueno.
Not muy bueno. This is also the moment with the crickets singing in the background. We properly get to meet another character in the show, and that's Hilary Shaw, manager. She's talking.
The name's Hilary Shaw. I don't know why I'm going to give her like a New York accent. That's how she's always like
Hilary Shaw from her company Shaw Thing Management. Here she is talking with a Bluetooth headset in one ear, just in case she gets a call. I did go into the Shaw Thing website just to see, what's going on because Peter Lorraine, he's doing very well for himself. What's Hilary Shaw up to? I do not recognize any of her current clients.
Oh, hit me.
I didn't even write them down because I did not recognize them. It looks like, though, they're all the sort of clients who are in musicals.
Okay.
They're like stars of different musicals, so we just wouldn't know.
Right.
Where's Nadine?
Not a clue.
We do get a quick shot of her.
She's very elusive in this show, isn't she?
She really is. Wait, is she filming? Was she the pap?
Yeah, she was the pap in the bush.
She's been on the phone to the tabloids like, I'll get you some pictures of Sarah's bum. Give me some money, just transfer in euros through to me.
I'll do it on my flip phone.
Send it to my Irish bank.
My flop phone.
Flop phone.
So we jet back to London.
Now I've called this next sequence Back in Blighty.
Yeah. So we're back in London and we see the result of the paparazzi shot, and it is an incredibly close-up picture of Sarah's bum as she leans over to like adjust a sun lounger or something, isn't she? It is literally right up in her business, and it is huge. Like the picture, it's the front page of the Sun.
No, it's the Daily Sport.
Oh, is it the Daily Sport?
Which sounds like a made-up tabloid.
Yes.
The Daily Sport.
Well, they don't really talk about sport.
No, but yeah, you're right. Sarah's bum's front page, and there's also a headline that says "Girls Allowed cotton bed together."
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
And they're like, oh, it says. She's like, oh, someone's with her and they're talking about it, and they're like, oh, it says you all share a bed together. She's like, what are you talking about?
Because inside, she's front cover, but then inside there are pictures of them all, like, on nights out, kind of like drunkenly giving each other a kiss. Right. I wonder if these are pics from Spain, from that night out we didn't get.
Yeah.
And it says, we sleep together. So Sarah, throughout this, now, she's sort of pretending to be pissed off. She's just said to them all, oh yeah, and inside they're saying all this about us, and they're saying this and this, and then she says about 2 seconds later, I'm not going to read it, it's a load of shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I thought you just read it.
Yeah. And, there's a little bit of kind of 2006 happening when they're talking about this because, Hilary Shaw's like, you look great, kid. You got no cellulite.
It's a compliment.
It's a compliment. And then she's like, we could get plenty of promotion selling thongs. Yeah. And it's all just a bit like, oh, maybe we should actually think about how grim it is that someone has literally zoomed in on a woman's crotch as she bends over. Like, it's kind of disgusting and they shouldn't be doing it.
It's like the picture, she looks phenomenal
Yeah.
and she's gorgeous, but that's not really the point.
Yes, exactly.
She didn't consent to having this
it's
picture on the front page.
such like a hideous invasion. So that's, I didn't really enjoy that kind of whole section. And then basically this kind of segues us into, we kind of go from Hillary via Peter to our Kim. So
Peter's got a few things to say, doesn't he?
yeah, so Peter's like basically saying, oh, this is a very strange statement where he tries to make, where he's basically like, if they get photographed falling out of cabs and out on the town, it's does it sell records? Then he just goes really quiet and he's like, it does help raise awareness.
Yes.
It's like, okay, Peter, we're clever enough to read between the lines of what you're saying. Thank you.
There's definitely a long pause before he answers his own question.
Yeah. So, he's basically, this whole segment is about how the Paps they caught the Paps a little bit to get the attention that they need to sell the records, etc.
Yeah.
Then we cut to, just like a warm hug, like a warm mug of Ovaltine. We've got a nice little in the car interview and chat with our Kim.
Yeah.
Don't know where she is or what she's doing.
Well, Kimba, she's in her kind of like her Renault sports car.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's on a grey, drizzly road. And she does say, I suppose we are a tabloid kind of man, aren't we? Just love, I'm like, you be whatever you want to be, Kimberley.
I love her so much. Just even at this time has the essence of a comforting, like, 40-year-old.
Oh.
Just like lovely.
Perfect.
So she's talking about how where she lives, there is one paparazzi that follows her around. And this is where she iconically mentions that they always catch her coming out of Pizza Express.
Now, what would Kimberley order at Pizza Express?
Well, 100% she's splitting those dough balls to start with.
She's gonna, I mean, you're there. You got to get
You've got to have the dough balls.
Got to have the dough balls.
And then
I think she's got... I think she's ordered a Diet Coke.
Yep.
Out of one of those like little glass bottles
Yep.
you don't get in America, but you do get in Europe.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
What else we got?
Then I think she gets that pizza with the egg on it.
Is that the pizza that's got the cutout with the salad dumped in the middle?
Well, probably no, I don't think that's not our Kim style to do the salad one.
Okay.
I think she gets the spinach and egg pizza.
Well, that's nice. She might not finish it, but she might take a bit home.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Kimberley.
You should have a Diet Coke, and then maybe if she's really feeling fun, she'll have a little glass of white wine.
Oh,
Just one.
a little glass of white.
Yeah, she'll be like, I'll have a Pinot Grigio.
I'll have a wee glass of vino.
I'll have that white, just the second one down, I don't mind.
Oh, lovely. House.
I would, still to this day, I would fucking kill to go to Pizza Express with Kimberley and just like have a lovely evening with her. I bet she's like, then, now, forever, I would do that with her.
What, split the dough balls with Kimber?
Yeah, split the dough balls with Kimberley and just like shoot the shit. She's lovely.
So that's a little insight into Kimberley's life. We then get, just out of nowhere, Nadine.
Yeah, she literally, it's almost like she looks like she's in like a changing room in a shop. It's almost like all of a sudden the changing room curtain gets flung aside and she's just like, getting out of a cab when the girl band is an art form, they should be teaching you. First time I saw my knickers.
You need a lesson, get out of a car. The first time I got caught. And then there's like a shot of a newspaper with Nadine getting out of a cab and they've blurred her underwear area and it just says Nadine no knickers.
Yeah. She's very insistent that they were just getting a shot of me knickers.
I know, it is very early to mid 2000s. This whole thing, isn't
like super dark, basically being like someone in a girl band just so casually talking about paparazzi trying to take a picture of her crotch.
Yeah.
And then she even says there's this super dark line where she's saying, I remember my first knicker shot. And then she's like, but once it's happened to you, quite a few times, you just kind of find a way to move on. It's like, oh, you really shouldn't have to.
Because she quite specifically said that after the first one, she thought her world was shattered. But once you've had it 100 times, you get over it.
Yeah,
it's like, Nadine, you don't have to.
You shouldn't have to get over having someone trying to take a picture of your crotch. It's so grim. I'm glad that's a practice that doesn't really happen anymore, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of that whole world has kind of stopped, that like falling out of a cab culture.
Well, I think, first of all, no one's going out right now,
Well,
are
yeah,
they?
true. What I would give to show my knickers to a paparazzi
After
falling
a
out of a
night
cab.
out.
Yeah, that O'Neill's.
You've been to Eden. Right, next up. Do you know what? We're gonna need a photo to go on the cover of our latest single.
Yeah.
A whole lot of history's coming out. We're gonna need a photo.
It's gonna need a whole lot of look.
Oh yeah. So let's go to a whole lot of photo shoots.
So we see the smoke of a cigarette coming out of Hillary Shaw, and she's like, "Hey kid, image is everything with these girls. We gotta get them on TV. You gotta get the right makeup. You gotta get right hair. Okay."
I want to give a shout out to Hillary sitting at her desk. There's a fax machine in the background and also a book of 12 first-class stamps.
I feel like I have at some point been in communication with Hillary Shaw. I think I have, yeah. I'm sure I've emailed her at some point about some detail to do with the performance.
Yeah, I think I've maybe dealt with her. I was working a show and Sarah came on. I think I dealt with her then. Sarah was very nervous because she's by herself, and I'm sure I've told you this before. She cooked her banoffee pie. We all had some. And that was it. Yeah. So we're at the photo shoot.
We need to talk about this look. So this is that look that we're going to get haunted with for this whole series, which is I'm calling it the patterned look. So we've got some people are in stripes, some people are in gingham, some people are in polka dot, some people are in all of it.
Yeah. It's at first glance, you're like, oh, nautical.
Yeah. Then you're like, oh, French. Then you're like, oh, Minnie Mouse. Oh.
Wait a minute.
Everything.
Oh, yeah.
So actually, if it was Minnie Mouse on a boat in France, that's that whole look mixed together.
Yes.
Oh, and she's also having a picnic.
Yes, 100%. And it's a hot day, so she needs like a big hat on.
I was going to
like
say,
a floppy hat.
Shout out to Nadine's floppy hat.
There's a great shot where Nadine's trying on the floppy hat. There's just a very quick cutaway of Nadine kind of narrowing her eyes as if to say, not sure about that choice.
And then they show that's the patterns look. And then they have kind of I think it's the look that they settle on, right? It's the all white look is the picture that they show.
Yeah, I've written white outfits with statement black accessories, belts, loose bow ties, detailing, etc. I will say it make this look far more than the pattern confusion makes more sense for a whole lot of history, because whole lot of history isn't bright colors, Minnie Mouse on a picnic on a boat in the heat.
I really like Sarah's look in the white
Me
white
too.
outfit.
She's wearing a giant
she's
shirt.
Her boyfriend's shirt. Which is belted, and she's got heels, but she's wearing white socks with the heels. So she looks. It looks like genuinely like they've done like a. Oh, she had a one night stand, and then she grabbed this and this and this, and like hit the town again. It's really. I think she looks cool.
I think she looks really cool. Yeah. In general, these outfits they look dated but great.
Yes. Yeah.
They all look great.
Yeah.
And also, this is another moment for me where I was like, oh, their whole appeal was they're very, like, sexy, but they're also fun.
Yeah.
And they're also approachable.
Absolutely.
So, this next section is a little confusing because we jump around all over the place. I've just called it doing TV.
Yeah, I called it getting on TV.
Getting on TV. We'll tell you what, we're going to need someone to do that.
Yeah. Got to get Rachel Cook on it.
Rachel Cook.
She shouts out children, young girls and gay men as the people who love Girls Aloud.
We're like,
she ain't wrong.
She's on it. There's a shot of her corralling the girls in the dressing room, like, Kimberley, let's just go now.
Should we head out?
Should we
head out? Doing that very, very British way of speaking that I've got very used to not doing over here. Don't you think? That kind of like, so I'm gonna just do this and It's like, if you tried to do that here, people would literally be like, I don't understand what you're saying. You need to be more direct.
A producer, basically, like you or I have gone to Rachel and say, right, the show's about to start, we need the girls.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, I'll get them.
Girls, can we just perhaps...
Should we wrap this up and we'll head up?
Yeah, it's very much like if you ever have a group on a show that you're dealing with and you have to brief them, you get Rachel Cook to get them all in one place and she'll go, girls, everyone listen, everyone needs to listen.
Meanwhile, there's a lot of drinking of coffee out of styrofoam cups.
Yeah.
You know
so
what I mean?
it looks like they're at the BBC for some of this, but it's a mixture of...
There's a mixture of dressing rooms here. In general, this whole show, there's just a lot of chopping around of different things. So we're definitely in the BBC, the old BBC dressing rooms downstairs.
Right.
It's the big, if you had like a group come on a show, we'll put them in the downstairs dressing rooms. They'll all go in there together. There's kind of those burgundy fabrics and wood paneling.
Right.
I have had an encounter with Lily Allen in this dressing room. It went very well.
Oh, a good encounter.
Good encounter. She was in great form.
So Rachel Cook, the TV promotions executive at Polydor UK, she's talking about how pop music has kind of changed.
What's the current climate?
And she says, she shouts out James Blunt, Jamie Cullum, and Katie Melua.
Yeah.
Now, I'm obviously only interested in talking about Katie Melua from that list.
Now, remind me, what was her big thing?
Her big thing was the closest thing to crazy. This is the closest thing to crazy I have ever been.
Is she on your Permy playlist?
Feeling 22, acting 17. No, I did not even... She was a bridge too far even for me. She was too slow. I needed like a pop She was awful. She did that 10,000 bicycles in Beijing song as well. Remember that one?
Yeah, too many bikes for me.
Yeah.
Well,
Pop on one of those bikes and fuck off, Katie.
Rachel, well, she did. Rachel Cook's point here is that the current climate is basically not pop.
Yeah.
And this leads us into, well, we're at CD UK.
Yes. We land in one spot and it's CD UK.
The dressing room of CD UK. And Rachel says that last year, in the 2005 Brit Awards, the girls were nominated for Best Pop, but they lost to McFly.
They knew they were going to.
They knew they were going to. They were fine with that.
Of course you're going to lose to McFly. Of course
in 2005, lose to McFly.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Was that when McFly first came around?
Who knows? Don't.
Ooh, I know how much you'd hate that song.
So, but do you know what? It's 2006 now, and the girls didn't get nominated.
Shocking.
I like Rachel here because she veers from her sort of quite professional demeanor to being like, I think she's basically saying that they're in shock that the girls did not get nominated.
It's true. And I guess that's the whole point of this segment, is they're kind of talking about how pop music is the definition of pop is changing, and we'll get to that when we have a surprise appearance by someone wild, a couple of wild characters.
I think we're ready for it because we're warming up for a whole lot of history.
Yeah,
we're warming up for the live performance of a whole lot of history in CD UK.
Well, and Rachel Cook very importantly says that CD UK is a crucial TV show for the girls, and I wrote, and for us, Rachel. Crucial fucking TV show.
Do you remember when you talked about the gay fans earlier? We're still here, okay?
So yeah, so they're getting ready. We get treated to a wild a cappella version of a whole lot of history while they're getting their makeup done. Sounded good.
Sounded great.
Sounded lovely. Didn't hear any evidence of that on the actual performance on the show. But...
Nope, definitely sang to a track on the show, and none of it was Mike. That's fine.
Yep, of course.
But meanwhile, do you know what? Now's a good time for a visitor. Who's going to pop in? Come in, pet. Come in.
Away. It's our Keisha from the Sugar Babes.
Well, this is a bit of a confusing scene because essentially it is Keisha from the Sugar Babes.
Yeah.
Sugar Babes have been nominated this year at the Brits.
What have they been nominated for? I couldn't quite understand what she was saying when she was talking about what category it was, because she wasn't sure, was she?
Something with the Kaiser Chiefs, she said, didn't she? And then she cannot believe that Girls Aloud haven't been nominated. And because Nadine tells her, we haven't been nominated. Keisha's
a rare on-camera appearance from Nadine.
Yeah. And Keisha's like, what? What are you talking about? How could you not be nominated for Best Pop? She's got a point, does our Quiche.
Oh yeah, I actually said this whole scene is Keisha pops in to discuss the state of pop with the girls.
This is like the UN, isn't it? But all about pop music. So yeah, Sarah pipes in here because she talks about the people who have been nominated at the Brits 2006. She says, Katie Melua, Westlife, James Blunt. Are they pop?
Yeah.
They're not, Sarah.
They're not.
They're
I
not
think
pop.
Westlife are pop.
Sure,
She
fine.
shouldn't have said Westlife.
Yeah.
She should have actually said Kaiser Chiefs like Keisha did, because, also, Kaiser Chiefs. I predict a riot. What a tough song to even think about.
Please.
Let's not even invoke the spirit of
do not bring
Ricky
that,
fucking whatever his name is.
Do not bring that to this podcast. Thank you very much. Right. Oh, what's that noise?
Another knock on the
Another
door.
knock on the door. 2 people coming in now. Who is it?
So they get one of them, well, basically they say, someone says, oh, it's a new Sugar Babes sister.
Which is...
So you're like, oh, she's a Sugar Babes member? Because on first glance, I was like, oh, they're saying she's like another sisterhood of the Sugar Babes because there's so many of them. And I was like, oh, it's Amel. And I was like, hang on. She looks kind of like Amel. And I was like, oh, it's Amel's sister.
Yes.
So basically, Amel, this is just as Amel has joined the Sugar Babes, and clearly this must be like her first TV performance, maybe, with the Sugar Babes. And she's brought her sister, crucially, just one of her sisters, I think.
Well, who's Amel's sister with?
So Amel's sister is Cheryl's talking to Amel's sister, and she's just like, "Oh, hey, your pet. Oh, hey, oh, you're a sister. Oh, it's so exciting, yada yada." And then she turns to the other woman with Amel's sister, and she's like, "Oh, you were mum?" And she's like, "No, I'm also her sister." And then there's just this hideous moment where you can see Cheryl's like, well, I can't acknowledge that moment, so I'm gonna just keep talking.
Yeah.
So she just plows on ahead, and she's like, oh wow, you're totally proud of it. Oh wow, oh it's exciting times. Yada yada. Oh, I gotta go and grab my date. Bye pet, bye.
Yeah, and then we hear Cheryl say, "Why'd I say that? I should have just said that, she is another sister.
Yeah,
Why would I go with mum? And the reason is because people often think my mum's my sister."
Yeah, it's like, oh, shut up, Cheryl.
We did see Joan earlier. It could have been a sister. But do you know what? We also get a little scene with Amel, because Amel drops by. Her sisters had been to warm up the crowd.
Yeah.
Then Amel drops in.
They've reported back that Cheryl said one of them's old enough to look like her mum, and then Amel drops in to say hi to, is it Kimberley and Cheryl that she says hi to?
Well, she says hi to them all, and like she's never met them.
Yeah.
This is a nice moment.
It is. It's very polite and lovely. She's just like, how you doing? Oh, you're right. You're right. They were
It's good.
They were like, oh, hiya.
Yeah, no,
They
it's
shake
good.
hands. There's a handshake, and then this whole scene just takes place within the noises of people going, oh, hiya. Oh, yeah. Are you excited?
Kimberley,
And then she just skips off down the corridor, and they're all like, oh, that was nice.
It is nice to see like a girl group like welcoming another girl group. Cheryl here is very friendly.
Well, plus just the thought of like, for you and me, just the thought of being at CDUK and having like Girls Aloud and the Sugar Babes just like interacting with each other.
Oh,
just,
dream.
I mean, little did they know what was to come. Walk this way.
That was the moment.
Talk this away.
Maybe that was the moment that the stars aligned when they met in the corridor at CDUK.
And I imagine Nadima's. She was like, "Shall we do a cover of Walk This Way on Don't Forget Girls Aloud?"
I like that song. Do the rocky bits really slide up and down that scale.
Walk this way. Talk this way.
Meanwhile, Cheryl's on her Discman in the background. A rock song. Yeah, I'm a rock chick.
Walk this way. You want to talk this way. Walk. Oh my god, that cover is so difficult to take.
So,
Well, Cheryl rounds off that scene saying, I felt like a right twat.
Meanwhile, outside, who is it? It's Fans Aloud.
I said, I described this as quite the motley crew.
It really is. Could you see yourself here?
Yeah, some very tough, unfortunate gays from the year 2006 in this scene. Some unfortunate gays and the girls that love them. That's how I describe this crowd.
I know. It's basically us and CLC, isn't
100%.
it? And then we see a little shot of the performance of a whole lot of history.
Yeah, all in serious trousers.
I've written they're dressed all in black for a funky funeral.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of like slacks. I really have to stop to get my mouth around the word slacks. Once again, glad they did that vocal warm-up as they then lip sync to a track. Yeah, completely. And then we finished this episode on a very strange note.
How did we finish?
With an interview with a paparazzi.
Oh, that's the enemy. The enemy's come on board.
Yeah, David Meafham. He's the paparazzi, and he really doesn't give a huge insight. He just talks about how, paparazzi shots is what keeps the girls kind of famous and relevant, basically. It's a very strange way to finish off the first episode.
Yeah, hope they got a release form for him.
Oh, definitely. There was some poor runner that was... Well, he got name checked and everything, so...
Yeah.
Oh, God, that poor runner that had to get all the release forms from the Girls Aloud fans. Or do you think they had a filming notice up?
Maybe there's a filming notice because they're in line to go into the studio, and there's so many of them. It's like a crowd.
I saw Rachel Stevens outside of the CDUK studio. I think probably in the year 2006.
Did you?
Yeah.
Were you there for Rachel?
Yeah, I was in the audience of CDUK, and then afterwards we waited. And
You've never told me this.
I must have told you when we did Totally Scott Lee, right?
No.
Didn't I? Oh,
no.
yeah. When I was at uni, I went to see CDUK, and the only person I can remember is Rachel Stevens.
Well, she would eclipse the rest.
I'm pretty sure I think she was doing Negotiate with Love, which is from that, followed up from like Some Girls.
Oh.
The case is closed, I don't negotiate with love. It didn't do very well.
Yeah.
And I honestly can't remember a single other person on there.
So, that is the end of episode 1. Before it ends, we see a little coming up next week. Now, it looks like they're on Davina's short-lived chat show.
Yeah.
And they're really nervous.
Yeah, and then they get told off for talking.
Do they?
Yeah, someone in the headset comes up and is like, shush.
Excuse me, girls, can you just keep it down? Davina's on. So we've got that. And then we've also got, crucially, Girls Aloud watching back an edit of the Whole Lot of History video.
Yeah, and Nicola ain't happy.
Cheryl's like, don't you fucking start. And Nicola says that she doesn't have enough makeup on. And they're all like, you look gorgeous.
She did look gorgeous in that shot. Yeah.
I was thinking how hard it must have been to shoot a video or do a photo shoot and have 5 young women have everyone be happy.
Yeah.
Oof.
It's a lot of people to please.
Yeah. Also, I'm very confused. Has the single been released? Has it not been released? Why are they only shooting the video now? Very confused.
People are playing fast and loose with the timeline in this whole show. It feels like it was all filmed in like 2 days and then stretching out to make it seem like it's months.
Yeah. So, final thoughts on the episode.
I thought it was a great introduction to what we've got to come. It's setting up some of the characters.
This show is Girls Aloud Off the Record, so why don't we need to name these episodes.
Okay, well, I thought of one.
Okay, go for it.
Just a second ago. I'm going to call this one Girls Aloud Off to Bluewater.
Oh, lovely. I mean, that's the pinnacle. Off to Bluewater.
Shopping with me mum at Bluewater.
My wee ma'am.
Go off to Holland and Barrett and buy me fish oil tablets.
Oh, no, we'll get a latte. We'll get a latte at the food court. Big, really creamy, lukewarm latte.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
From Costa.
Oh, this is, I hope she doesn't have like any issues with dairy, because that's going to really flare up. So, thank you for listening. Episode 2 is going to be out next Monday.
Yeah.
For the next 5-6 weeks, we've got these 6 episodes going on. And you have an episode of You're Welcome America coming out this week.
Yeah, I think so.
We sure do. As ever, get in touch on Instagram and Twitter, and please watch along on YouTube. Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah.
This is a lovely way to start January,
2021.
isn't it? 2021.
I hope it's going to be a better year than 2020.
It's going to be our year, babes.
It really is. Bye.
Bye.
Like we had 3 different cocktails. And then wine. Fake, fuck off!
So if I'm leaving like Pizza Express,
If anyone gets mud on this white coat, I swear to God I'll kill you.
I felt like a right twat.